Hey y'all, hey, it's Francis Dreamer. Of course, I know real estate, I can prove it. And I am here alone tonight, y'all. So y'all be gentle with me. Um, I still have not gotten it all the way together as far as reading comments while I'm actually on. But I do see y'all comments and I'm gonna work on that. So just kind of y'all bear with me a little bit on that. I wanted to kind of check everybody's temperature, and I really wanted to kind of know, how are y'all? It's a lot. It's a lot going on right now, and I think it's real important that we are checking in on, especially all those strong people. It's a lot of strong people that need to be checked on right now, and even the people that you don't necessarily check on often, you should check on them. That'll probably mean a whole lot. But hey, y'all, Wally is not here tonight, and I want to definitely say, Wally, I miss you and recover, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Well, I'll see you before that, but definitely in a couple weeks. Happy Pride Month, my people. Happy Pride Month. I hope that y'all are celebrating and, doing whatever it is that makes you blossom. And yeah, so let's get to it. Like I always like to say, of course, I know real estate, I can prove it. And but before I get into that, I actually want to ask a question. And that question goes a little something like, who planted you? The reason that question, I feel like that's a question, like a paragraph. It's not even just a question, because it pretty much, I don't want to say who's responsible for you being who you are, but have you thought about who planted you? With Father's Day coming up this weekend, maybe it was your dad, maybe it was not, maybe it was somebody else, but who whenever you think about the great person that you are or the great person that you're becoming, my question is, who helped that be? Like, who made you? Like, who helped mold you and make you in? Whether it was your grandma, whoever, pay homage to that person. That's real important. I also wanted to go ahead and but I'm gonna go ahead. Even with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and step into some real estate talk. Right now, the market is what the market is. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm not going to say it's good, but I'm just going to say that the market is definitely what the market is. There are some great things, of course. Veterans, you are not required to have a score, no minimum score. Just come on. Just they're if your score is extremely low, but you're not required to have one for your VA loan, but if your score is extremely low, we can definitely discuss that. Definitely want to make sure that everybody knows, though, that you are not required to have a score as a veteran. So veterans, the perks are they usually have the best interest rates, along with having the best interest rates, 100% financing. And everybody that has worked with me knows that I want y'all to keep y'all money and let that and buy some new furniture, because if you got a new house, of course you want some new furniture. And so for USDA right now, that middle score needs to be about a 640. That's right, a 640 for that middle score with USDA. And for FHA, if you have money, let me break it down for you. So with FHA, right now, if you have between a 500 and a 579 for your middle score, the down payment amount is 10%. That's 10,000 out of every 100,000. Okay. If you have a 580 to a 619, that down payment amount is 3.5% down. there are 100% options available when you go above that. So let me know what y'all are thinking. Let me know if y'all have questions, of course, and we can just kind of go from there. But the one that I wanted to actually get with you all about is I want to talk to the people, because we know that this country is definitely a melting pot, and it's important that if we can help each other, that we help each other. So for the people that are here and they may not have a social security number, but they have a I-10 or a taxpayer ID number, there is a loan that's going to mimic the FHA loan where you'd have to put about 3.5% down, but you can actually still buy a house even without having a social security number. So let me know what y'all thinking about that. Let me know if y'all have questions about that, of course. Times like this, I really wish I was bilingual so that I could actually speak to other crowds too. But yeah, just let me know how I may help with that. In other news today, well, not news, but I wanted to hop over to some hip hop. Let's talk about what's going on in this wonderful world of hip hop. Of course, I love hip hop. I'm a hip hop head. I think that I fell in love with hip hop in the 90s. So, anywho, I wanted to see what the people were thinking about this whole Jay-Z lining up with Target thing. I want to know what y'all think about that. Everybody knows that we've been kind of staying away from Target, or at least we're supposed to be, because they did not appreciate our black dollar. And because we were supposed to be staying away from Target, and I know that people have said different things, but the thing about me is that you don't have to tell me more than once that you don't appreciate my dollar. And with you telling me that, once you tell me that, I believe you. And so the what I've been hearing the most about is this whole he signed with Target for his new I think he's re-releasing an album. Is that right? Did you hear about that? Okay. He's re-releasing an album. And so he signed with Target, and when so that's where it's being released. And so my issue with that personally, okay, so one of my friends was saying to me that Jay-Z's responsibility is not necessarily to boycott. His responsibility is to, I'm trying to remember how they said it to me. It's not necessarily to boycott, but his responsibility is to help out the boycotters. So he's not necessarily a soldier in this fight. He's just responsible for bringing some money if anything ever happened. Now, I'm not saying that Jay-Z has not paid and helped. Like I heard about him helping when the BLM movement was going on, how he was helping people get out of jail and everything. But what I am going to say is that Jay-Z keep doing stuff. Because wasn't he the same person that said that it wasn't, we needed to stop bending a knee? Wasn't he the same person that said, you know what I'm saying? Like he was the same person whenever the Super Bowl or, you know, the NFL was supposed to be boycotted. He's the same person that went and performed. And so I'm not saying that his card needs to be revoked. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am going to say is how responsible is he going? How responsible should they be held? Like you already a billionaire. If you're already a billionaire, then shouldn't some things be off limits? Shouldn't some things, I mean, even shouldn't, for the cause, that is, for the cause, shouldn't certain things not be looked at and not be touched? It's kind of even like that attorney out of Manning that took Child's case. Sometimes for the cause, you got to step back and decide what's most important. Because after all, if we don't stand for something, what we gonna fall for? Anything. And so we don't want that, of course. But that's my take on that. I would love feedback on that. But like I said, somebody already told me that that's not his responsibility. He ain't supposed to be boycotting with us. So I don't agree with that. But I understood what they said because, of course, it is more important because their money is important. But also in that same breath, because, and somebody else was saying, I heard they were like, should we be upset with Beyonce because, that's her man. I love me some Beyonce. I ain't gonna hold you. Like she's like our Aretha, in my opinion. I love Beyonce. And I will be the first wife, if not the only wife, to admit you can't really control what the men do. They gonna do what they do. Think about how many women they've got men cheating on them right now. And if they could control it, they would. But, and vice versa. I'm not saying men are the only ones that cheat, but you can't really control what they do. They're going to do what they want to do. So I don't know. But I mean, and even, I don't know. I know y'all probably have heard about the whole UFC thing on the White House lawn and about that disrespect that man said about Michelle Obama, our queen. Serena's husband was there. So my question is, should we be upset with her as well because her man was there? Or should we not care because, is he technically being held to the same standard as Jay-Z? I mean, I don't know. Oh, y'all, let me see if I can catch these comments. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to come back and respond later. Y'all, my contacts just did something weird. I can't even. It's the phone. Yeah, I'm gonna get my Zalia's watching. Hey, babies, I need you to help me get my life together with these comments during this live. So I'm gonna work on this. Okay. So. Yeah, so yeah, that would be my question. Are we holding Serena's husband to the same level of responsibility as we're holding Beyonce's husband? Because do we expect the same thing from each of them? Because he was there, so him being there at that makes me feel like he's a MAGA supporter. And whenever people tell me that, I don't get into politics a whole lot, but whenever people tell me that they support MAGA, that makes me feel as though they're anti-black. And they may not be. They may love everybody. It may not be about race. However, whenever I see somebody tearing down what my people built up, I have a concern about that. When I see somebody taking books away that speak on what this world has done and what we've experienced as a people, I have a concern with that. So I do have a concern with people that are saying that they stand with MAGA and they wear their hats and, y'all do what y'all want. I don't say anything. I don't get into all that. But what I will say is that as a woman of color, I know that when you see me, you don't just see Frances Dreamer, the real estate lady. What you see first is a black woman. And I stand black every day, and I'm not apologizing for my blackness, nor am I going to change my blackness. But what I will say is some people need to be held accountable. Speaking of blackness, speaking of not apologizing, y'all, in 2 days, we celebrating Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, my people. And my people or anybody that want to celebrate it. Happy Juneteenth, good people. Happy Juneteenth. The other day, y'all know how everybody have their little Ring cameras or whatever. And so I like to talk about stuff sometimes that may piss people off. So we should probably have a segment about things that piss me off. Okay, so I'm minding my business. I'm not even at home. And my doorbell rings. I look at my camera and I see people are there, but nobody is like going to the door. Like nobody has opened the door. And so right then I should have said, you know what, I'm not going to respond to it either. But Somebody at my door. So and then I looked at the camera, and it's a stranger. I didn't say stranger danger because, maybe they had some information or something for me. So I go on my camera, and it's a black man that's at my door, right? Definitely happy Father's Day. I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna leave without saying that, because I love a good daddy. I mean, not just, I love. Well, I don't know if that sounds weird or not, but I love dads are vital. They're important, and I appreciate y'all. But I'm a leave. I was gonna say that for later. See you jumping ahead of me, so I it's two men, right? And I'm just gonna say, one of them was, both of them were young, probably early 20s. And so, and I say this as respectfully as I possibly can. Sometimes whenever we in our early 20s, we silly, okay? I was silly. I was in my early 20s one time. So this joker, he on my door I have a Happy Juneteenth little placard thing that's just, like where I would put a wreath. That's what's there. So this so I say hello, and he's like, hey, I'm trying to explain to my friend, who is a younger white gentleman that's with him. I'm trying to explain to my friend what Juneteenth is. So in this whole world, you decide to stop at my house to ask me what Juneteenth is. So my nerves was already gotten on, okay? Because why? Why is you here? Who sent you? But I ain't say nothing. I said, and he said, yeah, and they were selling something, of course, as well. So I said to him, I said, you don't know what Juneteenth is? Because I wanted to be clear here. Because, like I said, why would you not know what Juneteenth is? But maybe some people don't, and it's no. I'm not trying to front on y'all if y'all don't know, because I'm gonna tell you. Of course, I'll make sure y'all know before today. So he says to me, yeah, I was trying to explain, but they said they ain't never heard of Juneteenth. They ain't even know what that was. And I said, do they have a phone? Do they have the internet on their phone? Do you have the internet on your phone? You could definitely look it up and explain it to them so that everybody can know. And then he was like, well, yeah, and I also wanted to ask you about, I was like, don't ask me about anything, honey. Go look up what Juneteenth is, and you have a good day. So if y'all don't know what something is, and I think it's my daughter that said that somebody told her, don't let your smartphone show people how dumb you are. Don't let your phone show people how dumb. You got a smartphone. If you don't know something, if you don't understand something, if you just want information on something, you probably have an internet search engine on your phone, and you could probably look it up. And you don't even, and these days, hey Wally, and these days you don't even have to type it in. You can actually just speak it, and it'll be there. So if you don't know something, just look it up. You don't have to try to impress people that don't look like you by giving them a half response. Just tell them, hey, this is what it is, but this is what Juneteenth is, for the people that don't know, for the people that's way in the back that don't know. So whenever slavery was stopped, I don't have dates, y'all. I'm not good with dates, but I can tell a story. But when slavery was stopped, was it 2.5 years? Do y'all know? It was about 2.5 years. So slavery was over. Now picture this. You a slave, you working out in the field, doing everything that you slaves had to do, being master's boo, cooking his food, breastfeeding their kids, doing whatever it was that slaves had to do. And you doing this because you carrying on about your slave business, right? Well, somebody comes riding up and they're like, slavery is over. Slavery been over for 2.5 years. That's what Juneteenth is. Juneteenth is the celebration of the last people getting their freedom. Because if one of us is still enslaved, all of us still enslaved. Understand me when I say that. We can't leave nobody behind. Nobody needs to be left behind. So my question for the people is, what are we doing? What are y'all doing? How are y'all making sure that nobody's being left behind? Because in this day, in this time, we can boycott, we can stand, and I agree with all of it. Because if we don't stand for something, again, we'll fall for anything. But my question is, and my statement for the people is, what are we going to do? What are you going to do in your neighborhood? What are you going to do at your kids' school? What are you going to do even at your church? Where are you going to make sure that your voice is heard and that somebody isn't coming to your door saying they never heard of Juneteenth in 2026? Now, yes, it probably is a bunch of bull crap. It probably is, more than likely. But, and not to even be giving this thing a whole lot of play, but I was on Facebook, and one of my Facebook friends shared it, as a matter of fact, Brent. And so when he shared it, I clicked on it to kind of read through the comments. But in Horry County, both in Murrells Inlet and in Myrtle Beach, they have a post going around saying that the banks are going to be closed. This is going to be happening. This is going to be happening. And because those people celebrating Juneteenth is pretty much what the notes say. Okay. So I ain't got no issue with people announcing this, what's going to be closed on Friday. But my question is, or my statement is, ain't nobody complaining about nothing being closed on Columbus Day. Or even the Confederate soldier, whatever that day is. But people got under that post. One person said the zoo. It's gonna be the zoo. I mean, like just a whole bunch of statements. And I'm not saying that we as a people need to be going and arguing with everybody, because if it's you, the smart person, and a fool arguing, and somebody walk up, how can you tell who's who? Because if you smart, then why you arguing with a fool? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying we got to go and say something and reply to every single comment. That's not what I'm saying. But my statement is, we can show them better than we can tell them. And every black mama and black daddy has told their child that, I'm sure. Whenever you out in public and your child is acting a way that you ain't never teach them how to act, oh, I'm going to show you. Everybody knows that statement. Everybody has heard. I don't know nobody that ain't never heard that statement. If somebody tell you they can show you better than they can tell you, please understand it's probably about to go down. Understand me when I say it. So, saying all this to say, this is not this whole thing with, I care about why it happened and the way that it's happening, and I care about the way that everybody is looking at it happening. But what I do not care about is arguing with nobody about where I spend my $3.57. What I do not care about is going back and forth with you, because I can show you better than I can tell you. I ain't got to take my pistol out of my purse unless I got to. But please understand me when I say I can show you better than I can tell. I ain't got to take my debit card out either. I don't have to yell. I don't have to raise my voice. I can be a lady wherever I go. And please understand me, there's a lack of people acting the way that we should. So we don't have to get loud. We don't have to argue. We ain't got to fuss. We ain't got to fight. This ain't no boycott. This is a blackout. This is a wealth transfer. This is a wealth transfer. All those millions and billions of dollars that we have been spending and sending out of our community, baby, it's time. It's time for that money to come back, and not only come back, but stay back and stay black. Y'all, somebody need to put that on a t-shirt. So it's time for that money to come to our community. I don't have an issue with anybody and where they spend their money, but as far as my money goes, there is definitely a change required. My last girl looked like me. My I'm pretty good about it, but whatever I am not good about, please believe me when I say I'm getting better about it. And what I will say as well is I've read like posts where people are saying they like nail techs are saying we got so many customers, y'all keep coming, we ain't never been packed like this. Baby, it's just the beginning. And what I will also say is the same way we go back to the doctor if we have an allergic reaction to some medicine, please go back to your people, even if they made a mistake, even if they having a hard day, even if they had to argue with somebody because they ain't want to pay and they knew the price. And don't be in them people establishment arguing with them, please. I ain't got time for all that. Just go, if your money is not right, find out how much it costs and find out what you can get for that. Remember in that movie when he was like, "How much I can get for?" What movie was that? I know it was Chris Rock. It was Chris Rock. And what movie was it? You remember? Oh God. He was like, how much for just a rib? Or like just ask him. Say how much is it for just that? You ain't got to be like that, but you get what I'm saying. Just find out the price so it ain't no embarrassment. I done had my card declined before, and it ain't cute. So just find out how much it is. You can even call before you go, and get what you can afford. But this is not. I feel like I'm living in a time like the time like of Esther almost. And I felt like this a few times in my life where it was like whenever it was for such a time as this. And so what I will say is that it is time for us to not only stand together, but it's time for us to stand strong. And it is time for us to do what needs to be done so that we can be on top, so that we can stop making everybody rich. Like when we tell our kids it's spaghetti at the house. No, you got some McDonald's money, even if they do. It's okay. Oh, thank you. I'm going to get you, sucker. Thank you, Daryl. So yeah, even when we tell our kids things like that, it's spaghetti at the house, or we're not eating this or we're not eating that, because explain to them, because you will be surprised how many of our children will want to stand with us and will hold us accountable and will say to you in front of people, in front of company, well, you was eating at the Chinese restaurant the other day. I thought you said you don't eat there anymore. So just make sure that we standing for something strong, and we standing strong, because that's definitely important. Sometimes you can be winning at life so much until you forget that you're still in the game. Don't forget where you are and what you still have to do. That is vital. And that is the only way that we're going to not only stand, but we're going to stand for a long period, and we're going to make an impact the same way that we have been doing. Because we some big spenders, y'all. We spend some money. We spends a check and gets it back, and then we go spend it again. So this time it's okay to keep it in our community, because we're going to build our communities up wherever they are. Ebola. Did y'all know that Ebola was back? So right now about 800 people are infected, and on the continent of Africa. I'm not sure about where, but it's about 800 people that are affected from what I heard earlier today. And about 200 have died. And so this is where the U.S. aid would come in, because they weren't just giving money over to, people for no reason, but they were giving money to keep us safe and to keep us protected. We got to vote, y'all. If anything is affecting you, if you feel like you can't vote, make sure you can't vote. because a lot of people be like, oh, I can't vote because, nah. Make sure you can't vote. That means go up there, call up there, get your girlfriend to call, get your boyfriend to call, whoever got the patience and the time, get them to call and find out what the stipulations are. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually research it and I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. So that we can kind of see what the requirements are, like how more people can get registered to vote. Because this election right here, no, it's not the presidential election, but it is an important election because it's going to affect the things that are around us. With that being said, we don't need another pandemic. And we don't need it. And of course, nobody knows if it's going to, if we gonna get one. I mean, nobody goes to the store and say, ooh, today I'm gonna have me a pandemic. Nobody's doing that. But what I will say is, I don't know what to say, because the people that would be protecting us and providing everything that needs to be provided so that we don't get affected by this, they ain't got no job no more. Or they just, I don't know. It's a scary time. And I will say, if you pray to your ancestors, please say a word to them. If you pray to God, say a word to him or her or whoever you pray to. If you pray to yourself, say a word to yourself. Whoever it is, because that's what it is, a time. If it's Jesus for you, it is a time to lean and really focus, because could y'all imagine what it would be like with an Ebola breakout in America? I ain't gonna lie. During COVID, I was being ignorant, y'all. And I was actually getting my nails done still during COVID. There was this nail salon down 2 notch, and we crossed over some railroad tracks trying to get to the nail salon. Like, literally, we had to park somewhere else. Then we had to go in their back door. Now, we ain't never been okay with going in the back door now, but here we go. We had to go in the back door, and they had the lights off in there, so the people couldn't even see from like the window or anything. But I was up in there still getting my nails done. They was like, "You want your feet done too?" And I was like, "Yes, please." That was important to me. I wouldn't do that if we ever got another pandemic. I am a little wiser now, I think. But saying all that to say, y'all, I can't imagine. So I don't know I don't even know what how people transferred, I know it's bodily fluids, but the way that it's spreading now is because they're saying that even after a person dies, the Ebola is still living. So even like the people that are caring for the people that have passed on, washing their bodies and things, they're contracting it. Y'all, it just be feeling like this world going to hell. I know it's not, but that's what it be feeling like. Yeah, I hope it's not anyway, but I ain't making no promises. I don't know. But John Howard Wesley said, and these are not Francis Dreamer's words. These are John Howard Wesley's words. That's why I read his name. Okay. He said that if you don't vote and you're black, you're a sellout. Don't be no sellout. Don't be no sellout. It's no need to be. Voting can actually help you. Voting can definitely help you. His name is John Howard Wesley. John Howard Wesley said that. So, yeah. We talked about Juneteenth. I want to talk about Father's Day. Shout out to them daddies out there. Let me tell y'all. So, I can't say that I had a traditional relationship with my dad. Like I never lived in the house with my dad until I became an adult. Like after I had Kasim and I lived with my dad for some months. And he was a Marine, y'all, and he thought that he was gonna Marine me. And baby, I was not playing with John Freddy. But John Freddy was not playing with me either. Anywho, but I got to know him really well whenever during those months that Kasim and I lived with him. Every morning that Kasim didn't have anything to do, he made Kasim breakfast. Every morning. My dad is the first person that I've ever seen reheat grits. He told me he reheated grits because it was just easier to reheat them than to remake them. I still don't agree with that, but I can't argue with him now. But yeah, so actually, you know what? Did I have Zalia too? I don't even remember. Child bless it. I know I at least had. No, it was just Kasim. It was just Kasim. But my dad was a Marine. I can remember my room not being clean. And like, if you knew my dad was like, he was never skinny. Like, ain't nobody ever said, oh, that's a skinny man. Never. Okay, my daddy would eat. And so I can remember him looking under my bed telling me, you got stuff under this bed you need to clean up. And I was just like, I can't live like this. But y'all, when I say to y'all, if I could go back and all I had to do is clean up after myself and my baby, and oh, you missed it. Okay, my bad. If all I had to do was clean up after myself and my baby, and that was my only responsibility, I would go back to my dad's house. In high school, I lived with the first man that I ever lived with was my Uncle James, and Dr. Adamson, everybody know him as. And I can remember when I first got there, he would always be at work in the afternoon. He was the first Black internist in Horry County, I believe. And if I'm wrong, don't get me. I'm human. Y'all know people be looking up facts and stuff. But anyway, so I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm very close. But anyway, but I can remember him being home one time and me being like, dang. And then I can remember as I was there more and I was there with him, when he was home, I would be like, oh, my uncle home. Yay. You know what I mean? Like I would be so happy to see him. I can also remember there was an incident where some people were cutting school, and it was around prom time. And so anybody that went to Conway High, we all went to, if you went to Conway High, you stayed on the beach for prom weekend. So my junior year, I wasn't able to stay on the beach because it was also Memorial Weekend. And if anybody know the good Reverend Cheryl, y'all know good and well nobody wasn't staying on that beach for Memorial Weekend. That was when Black Bike Week was jumping, okay? Well, so this was gonna be my first year staying on the beach for Memorial Week. For prom, because my first year. Oh, I stayed 9th or 10th grade as well, because Hannah's mom, Miss Marjorie McIver, she let us come and stay, and it was a good time. But this time I was actually going to be able to stay because it was my prom. I was so excited. So anyway, some people got caught cutting school. People who shall remain nameless. And my name may have been mixed up in it, but of course, I should have been innocent. And so my uncle said to me, he said, "Fran, if I hadn't already bought your dress, you wouldn't be going to prom." I'm like, oh God. I was like, okay, I can still go to prom. So he says, yes. He said, but you're not staying on no beach. I said, oh no, y'all. Somebody could have just knocked me over and just, pronounced me, she had a good life. And y'all, the way I cried, like I looked at him with tears in my eyes, and I said, but Uncle James, he said, I think that's a fair punishment. So I thought about it a little bit, and I said to him, I said, instead of you punishing me in this terrible way, can you just beat me instead? Because I really want to stay. And he says to me, I can beat you if you want, but you still not staying. And so my heart was broken. I thought my life was over. But as y'all can see, over 20 years later, yeah, like almost 30 years later, I'm still here and I'm still living. But saying that to say, it wasn't my aunt that told me. It wasn't this woman that loved me, I know, and that helped raise me, so that said this to me. It was him. And having that man in your life to check you, to correct you, to make you stand on what you're supposed to be standing on, y'all, it's so important. It's so important. And I can remember times that he's smiled a proud smile, but I can also remember the times I've disappointed him. And when I say to you, that by itself has, that would, like, looking at him with disappointment in his eyes, oh God, just take me. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, just, and it's so important to you that we have you men be these kids' daddies. Not a donor, not just, oh, that's my baby over there. Even if you don't have the money, do something free. Kids so cheap. They don't even care that all y'all did was go to the park. They don't care. You don't have to be extravagant with them. Love them. Listen to them. One of my cousins, I'm gonna steal one of her stories, was telling me how whenever something wouldn't go right for her at our house with the twins, she would call her dad and she would tell him everything that everybody did. And he would say, I'm gonna get them. And she said that used to make her so happy. But for your babies, for your kids, get somebody. Be with them. Love them actively. Let them, I know that you may not be able to talk to them on a day, but don't let a week go by and your kids ain't hear your voice. A week? Derek is in Conway with his dad for his summer. And if a week go by and I haven't heard from my 11-year-old who called me bruh sometimes, and who I be, who like to say inappropriate stuff, y'all, it don't feel right. So I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not even saying that the mothers or the grandmothers or everybody makes it easy for you. But what I am going to say is that if it's worth having, it's worth fighting for. And the memories that you are going to make and the impact that you are going to have on those kids, it's worth everything. Go to family court. Go and get your rights. And put it on paper. Especially if you paying child support. You have rights. You have rights. So I'm saying this, I'm a woman first, but I'm also a mother. And anybody that knows me knows that my kids went to they other side of the family for the summer. Because you ain't gonna interrupt my summer because I got plans probably. But y'all girls, y'all better get y'all freedom back. Let them men get them kids. Cause what? You ain't got nothing you want to do this summer without kids on your hip? You ain't have no plans? You don't want to go to no brunch? Don't offer me a brunch. Baby, I be looking for them during the week. So saying all this to say, it makes things easier. It makes things better whenever everybody is involved. You loved him at one time unless he took it. You loved him at one time. He moved on. I don't care. That ain't got nothing to do with that baby. Get your break, sis. I sure am getting mine. So that's all I want to say. Happy Father's Day. And shout out to the ones that I share children with. Happy Father's Day to y'all. I appreciate y'all for giving me such amazing people. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers whose dads, whose children know them, and all the ones that are going to do better so their kids can get to know them. Happy Father's Day, y'all. Stand up. I wanted to also speak on, not to be so dark and gloomy, But I wanted to also speak on something that happens, and a lot of people don't talk about it, and that is the move on after a spouse has transitioned. A lot of people know my story, some people don't. But I buried my husband in 2013. My first husband passed away in 2013, and longer story short, there was a lot going on where people thought that they would tell me how long it should have taken for me to allow my heart to grow and to love somebody else. And I am here to tell you that never is that okay. It is never okay for you. You don't decide when somebody moves on. It's tacky. It ain't your business. And if people worried about their money the way they worry about other people's business, it'll be a whole lot more. What they say Elon is now, a trillionaire. It'll be a whole lot more trillionaires out there if people worried about themselves. But here we are. So what I'm saying is, no, you should not take a date to the funeral. Don't be tacky, people. But what I will say is that nobody can dictate how long it takes you. Also, nobody can tell you that you were right or wrong if you stood by that person, because unless they're Lazarus or Jesus, they probably not coming back. And I'm sorry. But what I will say is, you moving on, allowing your heart is like allowing your heart to grow. It's not saying you're forgetting the person that you love, but what it is saying is that I'm human. I can still love. And it's okay to. So don't let anybody make you feel bad or put a timer on you or try to tell you nothing. Child, bye. Worry about yourself. And if you don't want to be cobweb, you don't have to be. You just don't have to be. It's okay to move on. You didn't forget them. You were faithful. You did right by them. That's all you can do. So I wanted to make sure that I said something about that today. Wally, how you feeling? Is he still on? Okay, maybe he's not on. He should. That's what I was thinking, but it say he was watching, so I'm just trying to see how he feeling. So I have a question as well. I wanted to ask about code switching. Some people say that some people ask the question, should we still be code switching in this day and age? And as far as my opinion about that, I feel like we're like chameleons. We can get along anywhere. We can adjust to anything. And code switching or speaking a certain way in a certain environment is not necessarily a bad thing. There are certain things that I feel people should not wear in public, and I ain't knocking you if you do. But the way that this world has grown, we should have something other than pajama pants to wear to Walmart. There should just be something else. There should be. And I feel like pajamas are for home, just like I feel like bonnets are for home. We got scarves now that we can wear that are appropriate. Whenever, I'm going to just go ahead and put it on out there. You probably all got more money than me. Y'all probably do. But when you got on your bonnet and your pajama pants, you don't look like it. You look like you on the struggle bus. You don't have no water in your house, and you can't even wash your clothes. And you probably hadn't had a bath. And this is coming from a place of love, from one woman to another. And y'all have, before I got locked, y'all, I had a big afro. They used to look stupid sometimes. Somebody was saying something about somebody else one day, but talking to me, and they talking about she got that stupid ass afro, and I was like, I got an afro. So I know about a bad hair day. And I know about needing to take your braids out. I know about taking your braids out. But I'm just telling you what some other people do not and will not tell you. Or they'll say it behind your back. You look like you need a bath when you have on a bonnet and pajamas. Because it ain't no way, at your big age, you took a bath today and you put back on them dirty pajama pants and that bonnet that smells weird. It ain't no way, as an adult, you letting your walk-by air smell like that. It ain't no way. We know better. So I'm not knocking you. I promise you I'm not. I ain't even judging you. I may sound judgy, but I'm not judging you. But if I see it, and like I said, wait a minute, you ain't got to take your bank account statements or anything out. I'm just saying what it look like, because I know you got money. I know you got clothes. I know you big mama. You know, I know that. But gentlemen, you too, somebody gonna get me. But even wife beaters, put on a damn shirt. You ain't got in that whole closet, you ain't got a single clean t-shirt to put on. Not one. And you was gonna come out, you came out because that's what you decided to wear. I know you got money. I know you fly. I know you got your chain on and everything. But that do look stupid. And I mean, I'll be 50 soon. So maybe I'm old and don't know what I'm talking about, and I'll eat that. But I'm just saying what the other people be saying, but they don't say it to you. Because I want us as a people to look better. I want us to present well. There was a couple weeks ago, there was a girl that was graduating, and she dropped down, and she did a split, and then she did that pop like that, you know, that y'all know what I'm talking about. And I was saying to one of my friends, I said, you know, they said, what did you think about it? And I was like, well, I mean, sometimes we express ourselves like that. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, we just that's just the way that we express ourselves. And they said something to me, y'all, and I still feel checked. That's why I'm feeling some type of way about it still. Because what they said to me was, so you didn't see anything wrong with it? And I was like, I mean, she's young. You know, she young and out here living her life. Let that girl live. Like, so they said to me, what if it was your daughter? I said, the devil is a liar. Not because my daughter is perfect. Not because any additional daughters that I have are perfect. Not because of anything other than I would expect my daughter to be able to express herself in a different way. I would expect my daughter to be able to carry herself in a different way. Not for anything other than the fact of what I have raised and poured in, and the money I've spent, and the things that I've said, and the things that I've taught her. Not for anything other than the fact that I know what I have poured into my house, and I expect more. So with that being said, no, I didn't. It did not make me cringe. Whenever she did it, I was like, oh, you know, like inside. But then whenever that person said to me, if it was your daughter, y'all, it made me panic because I thought about my daughter. You know what I mean? So I'm saying this to say, we as a people, something I was told when I was younger, just because you can do it don't mean you should. Just because ain't nobody gonna stop you don't mean you should. Because we as a people, we gotta be accountable, because you gotta be better than everybody else. If you want what everybody else getting, you gotta be smarter. You got to work harder. You just do. It's not fair, but life ain't fair. And we live on. So, yeah, that's that. So, with ending today, I want to say these words, and I hope that they sit well with your spirit, because when I heard them, they sat well with mine, and I wanted to share them. We as a people, not just the people, but we as a people, whoever you are, if you are people, this for you too, golly. Make sure that you're the thermostat, not the thermometer. The thermostat sets the tone in the room, while the thermometer moves according to the way the room feels. Once you find out the reason that you're behaving the way that you are behaving, you need to look down inside yourself and find out, unpack that. Find out why it bothered you enough to act a fool. Find out why it bothered you enough, and then work on it. Because nobody should have the ability to adjust your temperature. That's on you. That's eternal. Internal, excuse me. Is it internal? See what I'm saying? Anyway, it's internal. And don't give anybody that much power over you. You stand strong, and you stand on what you believe. Anything that you can say, make sure that you can say it more than once, because somebody probably recorded it and shared it anyway. So while y'all are taking care of yourselves, make sure you are taking care of others and taking care of where you are. Grow from this, grow from everything. Don't let anything hold you back. We big out here, y'all. And it's just time. It's time. It's time. Thank y'all so much for watching. Again, I'm Francis Dreamer. I know real estate. I can prove it. And this was Who Said That? All right, Wally, I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, y'all.